evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI. And I've got a great guest today that I'm really excited to talk to because it aligns very closely to what I spend a lot of my time doing, which is getting video produced and then taking that video and turning it into every possible piece of content that we can get from even 15 seconds of video. So Aaron Witnish is the guest today, and he has an extensive background in digital marketing, including being an agency owner and then creating a really cool tool, which we'll talk about as the conversation progresses. But welcome to the show, Aaron.
Thanks, Emmanuel. I'm really excited to chat to you today.
I'm so glad. I'd like you to start by sharing your journey into AI and marketing and what drew you here and how did it happen?
Yeah, well, AI has really taken off in the last few years, and I suppose it's been loosely integrated for a long, long time. But what excites me about it is the hybrid efficiency that it creates. So we've been creating content for 14 years as an agency, and slowly but surely we've found AI tools and softwares and different programs started to show up. In the early days, you're sitting there typing away and you're doing copy for web pages and you're building them manually with coding and all these sorts of things. And now today, everything's templated. There's voice to text. There's the ability to produce and edit video with AI. So it's really changed the landscape and the way that we operate as an agency. And it's about embracing that moving forward and finding ways where we can increase output, increase quality, and give a better experience to our clients. So it's an evolution, and I think it's only going to get more efficient and better day by day.
Yeah, I think that's cool, and I'm with you there. It's amazing if you just take a product like Canva and what you're able to do visually now with that, and what it took even 5 years ago with the Adobe suite, right? And how big that change has been.
Well, Canva's, interestingly enough, we do most of our presentations now, create all the visuals through that tool, and it's so inexpensive as opposed to when you used to have graphic designers and pay for people with those skill sets. So it's really exciting when you're an agency owner, when you've got tools like this that really make it a leaner operation and also increase the speed at which you can turn things around.
Yeah, no, both those things makes it for a small agency to be able to be super competitive and with the same kind of quality that the bigger agencies do. So yeah, that's cool. Well, how do you think that AI is transforming the traditional marketing strategies? What's the impact that we're seeing?
Well, now it's because AI can be extremely intuitive. We're finding that in advertising, in copywriting, if you can train AI well, it can almost be like an employee of your business. So again, you kind of have to have the original skill set to be able to train it well, because you need to be able to tell it what to do and put the right inputs in. But we're seeing this situation where I guess some businesses, AI, get excited, start playing around. They're very lazy and they just see what they can do with it, put it out there. And that probably has a negative impact on their brand if they don't get quality output. And they're all excited by the new toys, but it's not actually doing much service to their business. But people that have the original skill set and can really drive the AI learning machine, give it the right instructions, the right inputs, are able to take tasks that used to be days or several hours and be able to turn them around in minutes to hours, which is really, really exciting once you're able to harness and embrace the technology and use it in the right way.
Yeah, that's cool. And what you're talking about is prompt writing, right? And taking the time to really or prompt engineering. Um, so, do you have? Can you share with us one or two of your prompt writing hacks, or how you start with a project, a new project?
Well, the way that we approach it is we start with original human content as a content agency. So we'll get a transcript. So we use AI to transcribe, say, our conversation, and then we'll take that transcription to an AI learning machine, let's say ChatGPT. Everyone's kind of familiar with that. And
Yep.
then when we're creating that project, we'll give the tool a name. So that's like an employee of the company. And then we're constantly training it. So we're giving it prompts. This is as much data as we can. This is the target audience. This is the style that we want to write in. Here's some examples. Do you understand? And we're constantly confirming that it understands. And then we're explaining exactly what we want. So we're really just talking back and forth to it till it starts to produce the output, what we want, and usually starts off getting it wrong by a long shot. And we just have course correcting it and telling it, no, this is what we want. Can we try this again? So it's almost like having a conversation with a team member that you're training up to do something, and you're just refining it till you get that particular project on point, and it's able to keep putting the result out that you're trying to achieve with that particular project that you're working on.
Yeah, I like that. I like that's the golden bit there, which is you're training it like an employee, and that you're starting out with content that you've already created, or that you can that somehow you can wildcraft. That way, it's not going the GPT is not going out into the entire internet for the last 20 years, right? That's the
Well,
real power.
yeah, and also we know if we're starting with an original transcript that it's going to be accurate data if someone's spoken about it. So we're not going to have information that might not have been authenticated, and also that it's not duplicated because this is from a conversation that was had with the subject matter. And I think that's powerful when you know you're not spitting out something that might already exist somewhere, and that might also not be factually accurate unless you've done your homework and cross-checked it. So I think
Yeah.
having that quality control is really important from our perspective.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think those two parts, the prompt engineering and taking time to really dig in and making sure that you're being clear, and then validating it with the GPT, and then referencing good, clean source material. Those are the really the two primary secrets of getting the start of good content, right?
Definitely, and same with video. So we always start with an original uh, piece of footage, and then there are several AI tools that, if you want to go down that route, that can take that original bit of content and then transform it into a whole bunch of other content that you can use.
Yeah, no, that's cool, and I mean that's great segue into talking about how AI is influencing the content creation, and then some of the tools that you're using and that people might want to try out.
Definitely. So for entry level business owners, it's really exciting because you don't have to have a budget like you used to have to do to be able to get content done. So there are tools, Opus Pro, Get Munch are a couple of
Mhm.
examples where if you record a video, you can take your footage and share the link to those tools, and it'll repurpose that video into several clips. And then if you set up branding templates, you can add your captions, your font. You can also edit it down. So if you don't have budget and you don't have the capacity to have an editor or train an editor, then there's no barriers to entry anymore. As long as someone's willing to do the initial input and film the video, they're able
Right.
to get all this short form content. And look, it might not be the content that's the highest quality or what you're looking for long term, but it gets you on the field. And as your business grows, as you get more resources, that's when you can start to evolve that a little bit. So there's a couple of great examples. If you're starting and you want to get a whole bunch of short form video done relatively quickly, you've got Opus Pro and you've got a tool like GetMunch, so you can test both of them out.
Yeah, I like that. I have used both of those. And what are you seeing between long form video consumption and short video consumption? What's the ratio that you're
Long
seeing?
form video, people who like long form video consume long form videos. People who like short form videos consume short form videos. And some do, depending on the platform, go into both. Like I consume YouTube shorts and longer form. Long form is really, really hard to hold someone's attention for several minutes in an age where the human attention span is 8.25 seconds, you've either
Yeah.
got to have really good relevant content that delivered on the promise that you had in the titles and the thumbnails. You need to be someone of notoriety that people want to listen to, or just a really engaging subject matter, and being able to deliver and hold someone for several minutes. So it's really tough to do long form, which is why I encourage most business owners to just go with those sub 60-second clips in the beginning,
Yep.
because that caters to the way people like to consume content, especially the younger generations. And it's much easier to produce, which means you can turn a lot more of it around. And getting long form to perform, you got to have some skills up your sleeve and be a really good editor too, to be able to keep the frames moving and get people to stay interested long enough.
Yeah, that is true. And what I'm seeing like 40 to 60 views per one view, short to long form for the projects we're working on, which I don't know how that sits in the landscape, but it was pretty dramatic difference.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So when I do podcast episodes, I know on YouTube, no one's going to want to sit and listen to me talk to them down a video for 10 minutes about content. So
Yep.
my long form videos that get put into podcast format don't go well on YouTube at all. A good one might be 50 views for me
Right.
personally, but the shorts, absolutely, they'll get hundreds of views. And it's similar to the ratio that you just mentioned. And that's exciting because you can build the long form and then get your short form from that podcast episode and tick two boxes off with one effort, which is great for content.
And then how are you managing like the short form being connected so that there's a way for somebody to get back to the brand, right? Like either on YouTube or some other place for nurture.
Well, you gotta kind of, I guess, it's all context and relative. So if you did have a really good short form grab from a longer form conversation, then of course you can steer that back to the longer form if it's a really good hook. So, and it's also what platforms are you playing on, and where are you sharing the content. So for me, if someone's doing a podcast, a really good way to get on the radar is with those short form clips, but then also drive back to the longer conversation, because the benefit, if you can get someone to your long form, you really accelerate the relationship because they go into a much deeper session with you, listening to you for
Yep.
several minutes at a time. So it really accelerates the timeline with the trust transference, the desire, if you've got any offers on the back end of that. So if you can use short form to drive back to long form, it's a really good 1-2 combo to build deeper relationships and create depth with your audience, which is ultimately where the long-term success comes from, going deep rather than the width.
Yeah, no, that's good. I was just at a conference and one of the CMOs was talking about a study they did that showed it was taking about 6 hours of content in the B2B space, 6 hours worth of content before somebody wants to interact with the brands.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's such a massive mandate that we have now. Um, but tell me about the tool that you've created and how you're the genesis of it, and then what you're doing that's unique from say Opus or some of the other tools
Yeah.
out there.
The the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system is 3 steps. The first one is research. So anyone can create a piece of content, but is it the content that your customers are searching for? And I think that's really important. Anyone can do a clip that could go viral by shark attack or whatever it is, but is that going to reach the right audience? Will that audience have utility for your product or service? So in the business sense, I think it's really important when you create content, you want to have your target clients in the back of your mind and focus not so much on the vanity metrics, but on the quality of the audience. So what we do is step one is we go, what are your target customers? What questions are they putting into YouTube? What questions are they putting into Google? So let's say the outcome you specialize in is home loans, as an example. You take that keyword, you put it into Google, you scroll down, there's a people also ask section, and it'll give you the queries that people are typing in about home loans. So all of a sudden you're getting all these questions that your target customers might be asking around home loans, and you click down and it'll give you more questions. Then you might take interest rates and see what are people asking about interest rates, and you'll get all the questions in the people also ask section. So you go from guessing what people want to know about home loans or interest rates if you're a mortgage broker,
Right.
to know, okay, this is exactly what they're typing in. So if you answer those questions, you become a solution to their biggest problem. So we start there. So we're creating very deliberate content. The second step in the process is record. So this is where you get that original human piece of content that you're going to repurpose. And so we'll take those questions to a client or a business owner, and we'll use an interview format, a bit like we're doing right now.
Yep.
And we'll ask those questions. So the business is answering the questions that their target client is searching for. So that's our original piece of content. Now, when we repurpose it, we use our editors. So we use AI to get the transcript, and then we rewrite that with our team. Shell's our copywriter, but with the videos, we also cut that, because the challenge with the AI tools is that it intuitively cuts. So it doesn't necessarily get the clip for the corresponding question that you're trying
Right.
to answer, which is the content that's going to show up in the right places for the target clients and in the search results, etc. So we'll go and use an editing team to cut those clips that we're after for the relevant content. So we might have 12 questions a month that we ask a client. Our editors will go through and cut 12 short form pieces of content. Our copywriting team will take the transcript and rewrite several pieces of written content. So we've got two formats, and then they're ready to go out across social media. But as I mentioned, if someone didn't have a budget, didn't have the ability to get an editor, you do have your tools like Opus that can
Right.
repurpose that video for you. It just might not get the clips that you're targeting, but it will give you some clips to work with.
So you're using with this tool, it's a combination of done with you, done for you, and AI tools. Is that accurate?
Correct. I think
Okay.
one of the best things about having the faces and the humans of the business on social media is it increases trust for that business. So
Sure.
there's a lot of synthetic content going around. There's a lot of people taking shortcuts. When you see the people and it's authentic and it's very real, like you get with a conversational approach, that's the great thing about interview. People are a much more natural version of themselves than if they're staring down a camera with a script trying to do a take.
Not
And
happening.
we've yeah, exactly. So we find that it gets this very organic content that really resonates with the right people. And that's ultimately what helps businesses transact when they feel like they're doing business with someone they trust, as opposed to a brand or something that might be synthetic, which creates discernment, because there's so much fake news. There's so many unsolicited text, emails,
Yeah.
messages, that at the end of the day, people want that human connection.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% that it's the advent of the tools has kind of brought back this spray and pray mentality amongst marketers, and it's made it more difficult in some ways for those of us who are not participating that way. In some ways, it makes it easier, like you're talking about. You know, the more you can humanize your brand and have the people who own, manage, who founded it, those parts of the business participating and speaking to the product or service, then we have an advantage over just this faceless AI bot.
Yeah, well, there'll be more and more AI content in circulation. And the truth is, people that like AI content will get shown AI content. The algorithm's really, really smart.
Yep.
People who like more of that human generated content that isn't synthetic will get shown more of that content. So it's not a matter of will AI dominate or ruin content. The algorithm's smart enough to know what people want to consume and what they want to see. So they're going to cater someone's content experience to that. So I don't think people need to put the fear to the side and really trust the algorithms. They do know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, what advice would you give to marketers who are just beginning to dig in and integrate AI products or services into their campaigns?
Start with that original human input. So whether that's
Mhm.
an interview, a conversation, so that way you know what you're repurposing with AI is that original, because that does separate you from someone that is spitting out duplicates, that is taking shortcut, that isn't putting their face out there. And the best way to do it is what I said with the 30 days in 90 minutes. Just have conversations with a team member, with a colleague, especially if you don't have a budget to invest in editors and external team, because you'll get that really organic way of showing up in that conversation. And use the AI tools for efficiency and repurposing and getting your content from there. And realize that you're going to get better, that you got to get started. If you look at anyone's content early days, it's going to suck. And when you get better at delivery, better at conversation, you get more feedback about what your audience likes and responds to, then you can start to cater to that. But the other thing I would also encourage people to do is see where you can specialize on your profile. Can you say what you do to differentiate you? So let's say you're a content agency. Well, there's hundreds of content agencies out there. What's the outcome that you specialize in? So if you can, let's say you're that mortgage broker again, don't put mortgage broker, put 7 days to home loan pre-approval on your profile. So that instantly says, okay, that's the outcome that we specialize in. That's we're different. So if you're putting content out there and people go back to your profile, they can instantly go, oh, that's the problem that I need solved, or it's not. And that's going to really help qualify the inquiries and your ability to generate business from content. So there are a few tips that I think are pretty handy.
Nice, Aaron. I appreciate that. That's good. Good stuff. Tell me how I can get in touch with you. Give me some contact information.
We have the system that we use to create this content available for free at contentonly.au. So there's a tutorial, a video that walks through exactly how we do it. So for business owners that want to go ahead and implement it internally, we've got no problems with that. Go ahead, set it up, follow the system. We just want people to create great content that grows their business. And then if people want to use our team and our systems that are in place, because it's more of a set and forget scenario, then they've got that option. So if you go to contentonly.au, download the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system, and you can see exactly how it works.
All right. And then, of course, they can connect with you on LinkedIn, and you probably have a couple other profiles on Facebook maybe, and Instagram.
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, pretty easy to find with the surname Witnish. There's not too many Aaron Witnishes floating around. So if you do want to say hi or follow, I'll definitely follow back, and feel free to send a message if you've got a question.
That's awesome, Aaron. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on today.
Likewise. Thanks for a great conversation.
I look forward to checking in with you again and see how it all develops.
Likewise. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Right. Thank you. Well, I enjoyed the conversation with Aaron, and encourage you to get in touch with him and or at least to download the information and figure out the system that he's recommending in terms of video first and repurposing that video. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you or see you soon.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.